I gotta say that's a little funny that they want to show off their game and reveal it on Facebook, and all you get is video because the audio for it was claimed as copyright material. That's a little funny. The King of Flow is back. Well, the game might flow, but the aesthetics are about as rough as Mommy Dearest.
And your room looks like a $2 a week furnished room in some stupid backstreet town.
What's up, guys, and welcome back to my channel where I talk and do everything pinball. So if that sounds interesting to you, then hit that subscribe button down below. Stern has revealed their last cornerstone title for the year of 2020, and it is none other than Led Zeppelin. A lot of the information that you're going to be getting from me is via TWIP's website as well as Stern Pinball's website as well. The game is designed by Steve Ritchie, also known as the King of Flow, that has done many games that a lot of you enjoy that you probably don't even realize, those of you who are new to the hobby. For instance, I own two of his titles back here, The Getaway and Black Knight 2000. Now, some may argue and debate about his latest titles are nowhere near as decent as his earlier titles. That is obviously debatable. His last title that we got was at the beginning of 2019, and that was Black Knight Sword of Rage, where originally I first saw that game. I wanted it, but then I saw the stream, and then I changed my mind, and then I played it, and I was like, yeah, I played it safe, and I'm glad I did. I did not get it. Not like it's a bad game, it's just not one that I felt that I needed to own. Tim Sexton is backing up Steve Ritchie with doing the software and the code, rules, all that stuff and junk. So he was on Sword of Rage, so he is also with Steve Ritchie again to do this title. Artwork is by Stefan Jensen. Lead sound by Bob Baffy. Graphic art, Chunk Ernst. The lead mech engineer is John Rothermel, and the mech engineers are Elliot Eisman and Rob Blakeman. The MSRPs for the three models are: Pro is going to be $6,200, Premium at $7,800, and LE at $9,200. Now, going through the TWIP website, and as the discussion talks about what you do with the game, I thought something that needed to be highlighted and was interesting, where it says your progress through songs is something unique and something never done in a music game. Each song is divided into sections, like your verses and chorus, solo, the bridge, and each of those sections have their own rules to show which shots are available. If you finish a song, it will automatically transition to the next song. So that's something that's a little bit different than what we are used to when it comes to, like, hey, if you want to start a song, go into this area, then you start a mode which starts a song. So that's different. All right, let's start talking about the artwork. This is the Pro model cabinet right here. Now, let me just get this out of the way, guys. I am not a Led Zeppelin fan. Their band was obviously out and at their peak and everything and stuff like that before I was even born. So it's not like I can sit here and just praise to you on how awesome Led Zeppelin is and know all about them, because it's before my time. Do I know a lot of their songs and have listened to them and enjoyed them? Yes. But this pin obviously is not going to be speaking to me as much as it is to a lot of you out there. So with that being said, there's going to be a lot of things that I'm probably going to say or mention that you're not going to agree with, because I'm not a Led Zeppelin fan. So I'm not harping on any of you guys that look at this and go, it's great. I look at this and I go, this is not good. I get it. I understand that this is taking it directly from their Zeppelin 3 album. So if you are a Zeppelin fan, then you probably look at this and go, this looks great. This looks just like the Zeppelin 3 album. And so be it. If that's what they were going for, which obviously that's what they had to be going for, then okay, they've accomplished it. I look at this and I don't like it, though. So it is what it is. Now let's go on to the Premium. Here is the Premium. Now the Premium is based off of their first album. And this, you can't get any lazier than this. This is one of those where I'm like, okay, yeah, it's off their album, but it's the same image on every portion of the game except for the inside. So it's like, this is something that anybody could have done. Anybody could have done this art right here. It hasn't been like altered or anything. Maybe it's been blown up on resolution wise so it doesn't look too raggedy, but it's not like the quality of this image needed to be so. I'm going to go on a tangent on something so small on this, but yeah, this is lazy when it comes to the artwork for the cabinet, for the premium. That's the way I see it. But there may be licensing restrictions. It is what it is. Like I said, my main complaints on this game as of right now is the aesthetics. Now let's talk about the limited edition. Who signed off on this? You've got to think, at one point, I see it in my head, at one point, this was presented to people sitting at a table meeting, or more than likely on a Zoom meeting, and they were like, all right, this is what I want to do for the LE. I want to use the Icarus wall art for their album, and for like the powder coating, which is what we typically do for LEs, I want to do it blue. Like a baby blue at that. It is one of those things, if it was presented, like if it was pitched before it was actually created, it would have been one of those things where I would have been like, well, before we go spending money on actually powder coating this, the color that you recommend, let's have somebody in Photoshop do something up really quick. And the thing is, I could easily give this image to my brother and be like, hey, can you just throw this into Photoshop in like 5 minutes? 5 minutes. I bet he could come up with a better color. You know what? I will do that. I'm going to try to get him to do something up that would have been a much better color sequence for this art. I get it that there is blue at the bottom of it, guys. I get that. But the blue that goes with this does not look good. This looks... It was one of those, whenever it first got presented, when I saw it, I was like, because I think I saw it, might have been on Pinside first. I didn't think it was real. I'm like, no, that can't be real. And sure enough, it is. And I'm like, oh. And I'm a big fan of contrast, guys. I'm all about when you do like your powder coating to have that contrast. You've seen it in my last Action Hero, and I've done it with like Hurricane and stuff. I'm all about contrast, but I'm also... I try to make sure it's going to go good with the art and everything, and this just does not look like it does. This is not appealing to my eyes. It's actually just beating me over the head, it seems like. Like, you want an LE? You want an LE? Here's your LE right here. And it's just like, oh. If someone was to give me this machine, because I'm definitely not buying it, if someone was to give me this machine, the first thing I would do is take all that armor off and the T-molding and probably just go straight black with it. I mean, something else. I don't know. We'll see if I can get my brother to do an image, if I can put it into this video. If I can't put it into this video, I will try to get it out online for you guys to see what it looks like or something. I'll do something. I'll post it up on my YouTube community page. But yeah, the LE is not something that I enjoy looking at. Quick edit here, guys. I did manage to get a hold of my brother and had him look at the art, and as someone who has all the Led Zeppelin albums and is a fan of Led Zeppelin, when he saw the artwork that they decided to do for these cabinets, he was definitely set back as well on the lack of effort and especially the choice of color on the powder coating for the LE as well. It was one of those like, why blue? Of all colors, why blue? So the thing is, he put it into his program and he was changing all the colors, and he's like, you know, the funny thing is, Cary, is that there's so many other colors in the spectrum that look pretty darn good with this, but he's like, the only other color that looks as bad as baby blue is green. So I've got to a few of the color choices for it that he put up, and I'll show you right here, guys. Now, the artwork for this LE is not from an album. This is actually from their record label image, which is it's called Icarus. So I've actually got a little bit of information for you here. So this might be the very first time ever, guys, for Cary Hardy's history lesson. The Led Zeppelin Icarus symbol is actually based on a sketch done in 1869 by artist William Rimmer called Evening, the Fall of the Day. The sketch is currently being displayed at the Museum of Fine Arts in Boston. The Led Zeppelin Icarus logo was picked up by Zeppelin to be the logo of their record label, Swan Song Records, launched in 1974. Zeppelin launched Swan Song to promote Zeppelin works as well as the music of other bands. The most well-known band to sign with Swan Song, besides Zeppelin, was probably Bad Company. Swan Song also released music for the solo careers of Jimmy Page and Robert Plant after the breakup of Zeppelin. Now, there's only going to be 500 of the LEs made. Now, another common question that people have is what is not going to be in the Pro in comparison to the Premium LE? The most obvious thing that you will not be getting is the rising mech that is in the center of the playfield that also has a locking mechanism for physical lock as well as a hold position for a ball with a spinner. I don't know if that spinner is going to be optic or mechanic. I'm going to lean towards it being optic though. The Matrix states this is going to be used for multi-ball, frenzy, and rock out. You know what Penn Stadiums are. You know what the hot rails with the Guns N' Roses looks like. Now it's time for Stern to release their version of that. This is their trademark, what's it called? Expression lighting system. Now this is 96 intelligent RGB, full spectrum, synced and adjustable, and it responds to game events. That's going to be in the Premium and the LE as well. That is up near the glass of the top portion that looks like it's been, I think it even states that it's actually like cut into the cabinet for these LED rails to work the way they do, or they call it the Expression Lighting System, ELS. On the Pro, you're going to be getting 13 instead of the possible 68 software-controlled LEDs. You're also only going to be getting 3 instead of the 4 metal ramps. That is my big complaint right there. We'll get to that in just a second when I go over the playfield. 2 instead of 3 main multi-balls ranging from 2 to 6 balls. Now, one of the questions that some of you are asking is, what songs are going to be in this game? There's going to be a total of 10 songs. This is absolutely a horrible image. Let me get a better one. There, that's a little better. So you're going to get Good Times, Bad Times, Communication Breakdown, Whole Lot of Love, Immigrant Song, Cashmere, Black Dog, Ramble On, Rock and Roll, Trampled Underfoot, The Song Remains the Same. Something I wanted to note on this center portion right here, let me make this a little bigger, is that on the center portion, when it comes, this is something that I think you guys should be aware of when it comes to changing the rubbers on this. You don't have much room right here. This looks like it's really close to the rim. So for those of you that want to put like super bands that tend to be a lot larger, that's something that you should just keep in mind right there. So here's an image right here showing off the ELS. So here's my complaint on the Pro when it comes to design. Now, obviously this is done to cut on cost, but we are missing the wire form and ramp that would normally be right here and feed over to this wire form. Let me show you what it looks like on the Premium. This is what it looks like on the Premium. You would hit it with your upper flipper. The only way to hit this shot, it would feed directly to this wire form back to your right flipper. This is completely missing from the Pro. All you're getting on the Pro is a stand-up target that is back here that you hit. So the main point of this upper flipper is to hit this stand-up target. And you have some stand-up targets that are also right here that can be hit with your upper flipper, but they are perfectly able to be hit from your lower flipper. And it even shows it in the video. They just kind of like smoothly hit across right here as they're trying to go up the center ramp. So as of right now, it doesn't look like this upper flipper's got much to do other than hit this section right here. It doesn't look like you're going to be able to use this upper flipper to hit this center ramp or anything. You might be able to. We'll find out in a stream in the near future. All right, so the right orbit will feed past your upper flipper to the ball lock right here. This is essentially just an out hole portion that just stops right here. And you will either lock the ball and that's where it stays, or it's a virtual lock and shoots it back out. I don't know if this has the option to just eject out and feed the pop bumpers, but from the video that we saw, it launches it back down the right orbit. I would like to hope that it can feed your pop bumpers as well. Otherwise, it doesn't look like you're going to be able to feed these pops unless you use the left flipper to go up here in between this area, or a slow momentum ball to just barely make it up here and drop down in. Or chances are that is where the left spinner lane leads to also. It leads to the pop bumpers. You don't really get a good look at it in the video, but I'm thinking that's where that lane ends up feeding to. That would make more sense to go there. I don't know if I like it feeding to the pop bumpers, but that's where that lane more than likely leads to. Now, the right ramp right here is one of those 180 flips like we've seen in many other games. Like one off the top of my head is just like Munsters. It's a Borg shot where it's a 180 flip, and it's also, like I said, it's on many other games. But like it comes up, does a 180 flip, and feeds right back to your right flipper. Now, the middle ramp comes up, does a 180, and feeds down to a wire rail that feeds to the left flipper. The left ramp comes up, does a 180, and feeds to the same wire form as previous. The multi-rail system is kind of what I like to call it, because it basically you have multiple things that feed to another rail. So just like your other portion right here, it would feed to this side. This left ramp feeds to the same wire form back to your left flipper. Now the other shot is your left orbit eject hole right here. Now this shot, when I first saw it, reminded me of the Stranger Things out hole on the left side, but this actually has a purpose, unlike that game. Man, I just thinking about it again, it's just like really stupid. But like on Stranger Things, you would hit it up in there and then the ball would just eject out towards like it was pointless in my opinion. But this one, you actually have purpose to it, where you come up here and you can either lock a ball, you have the ability to gain an extra ball, as well as something else I can't really see in this picture, but if I had to guess, it's probably like starting a tour or something like that. I can't really see. But that's pretty much the layout of the game. You have a mixture of drop targets as well as stand-up targets. You've got a total of 3 drops, 4, 5, 6, 9 stand-ups. If I see that correctly, yep. Let's see here. I don't know if I can get a good image of the spinner to see if that is going to be mechanical or opto. And it's one of those things where you might be going, what? And that's mechanical. So the switch next to the left ramp is mechanical. Now let me see if I can figure out if that switch inside the center is optical. The center ramp, or the center portion, has got to be optical. That's definitely what's going to be used to detect the ball being there for the magnet to work. So it would only make sense to make the spinner optical as well, right there, all in one board. So yes, that center rising mech spinner is probably going to spin like nobody's business. But my main concern with this is that this whole object in the middle of the playfield is going to like be in the way at sometimes, it may seem. I mean, I can assume that when this comes up, that your main objective is to do something with it. I doubt very seriously this would come up and they would want you to hit things that are behind it, but maybe. I just don't know the flow of the game yet. If you're able to hit straight through this and feed directly to the ramps behind it or not? I don't know. That's going to be in the stream to really find that out. So when it comes to like layout and things like that, I don't have any main complaints. For me, it's missing that wireform with the ramp on the Pro. That's a little bit of a stinger for me. Because I'm just like, really, how much? Well, let's see here. Yeah, how much extra would it cost to have that wireform and ramp on there to where it's like, nope, got to take it out. It's like, there's so many other things that I think that I would have been fine taking out. I mean, but it is what it is. This game does not speak to me. I don't harp on those of you out there that it speaks to you. For me, it's like I look at this and I'm like, I'm not aesthetically attracted to this at all. It may shoot and play great though. That is something that I mean, I look forward to being able to shoot this, to play another Steve Ritchie game. This is something I'm excited about when it comes to that. It's just the looks of it are a little harsh. Now, something else that they've already mentioned and shown us is the additions to the games, like rails and stuff like that, and even the topper. So let's look at the rails. So here are the custom cut Led Zeppelin rails, the armor for it. That looks pretty cool. Then you have the four-sided Led Zeppelin cymbal shooter knob. To me, like I said, I'm not a Led Zeppelin fan, but this may be really cool to you guys. I don't know, it just seems kind of bulky and weird. There's a better image of it, though. The sculpting and everything looks nice, though. I'll give it that. And then you have the topper. Now, this is something where I got to give, I don't want to say, like, credit, but I will, like, you know, tip my hat to this, that the actual topper for this game looks to be cool. I mean, it's like, all right, cool. It goes with the theme. It's got moving parts to it. And, you know, it may be simple with the layered plastics once again, but, you know, you got a little bit of a light show going on. It wouldn't surprise me if this was implemented not too long ago with the looks of what they saw on Guns N' Roses. And that's something I didn't bring up at the beginning of this video, but I'm going to bring it up now, is that everyone is going to be comparing this pin to Guns N' Roses. And you can't do that. It's apples and oranges almost. I mean, you can compare it as a pinball machine, but when it comes to quality, especially assets, I mean, it's night and day difference here. It's almost not even fair to compare the two because obviously Guns N' Roses is going to have the more assets and yeah. So, but when it comes to what, let me look at, I can show you the video what this topper can do. So here is the topper for this game. As you can see, it has the moving lights and spotlights that go across the ceiling like that. So I think the topper looks pretty cool. That's one thing to this machine of the announcement is one, I'm glad that they finally are starting to show toppers to the games as the game is being revealed. That's 2 games in a row now, if you don't count Heavy Metal. Ugh. But like cornerstone title-wise, so you've had Avengers and now Led Zeppelin that have revealed the game and the topper simultaneously. So kudos to that, Stern. I think this is going to wrap up my preliminary launch announcement reveal video for Stern's Led Zeppelin. Let me know what you think about Stern's newest cornerstone title in the comments down below. If you like what you've seen here, give me the thumbs up, and if you haven't already, subscribe button down below. Until next time, guys, peace out. Is it just me, or do I feel like the LE should have been the Mothership album with like red and blacked out? That, in my opinion, would have been much more aesthetically pleasing and made the LE much more desirable.